Blessed day, ma'am. My name is Christine Joyce Escobar from BTL ED1A, and I am here to represent my answer on what are the different food preservation methods. But before we proceed, let us talk about first what is food preservation. Food preservation can be defined as the process of treating and handling food in such a way as to stop or greatly slow down spoilage and prevent foodborne illness while maintaining nutritional value, texture, and flavor. Food preservation is one of the methods to protect food from unwanted microbial growth. After the food is produced, we store and protect them by covering the rice and curry with lids to keep away flies and insects. By this, we are protecting it from any infection caused by them. This is a short-term condition. Food preservation, on the other hand, is done to preserve food for a longer time. Objectives of food preservation. The following are the objectives of food preservation, such as to prevent microbial contamination, to kill pathogens, and to minimize food spoilage and food poisoning. Food preservation methods. Food preservation started long back in ancient time. Cooling, freezing, fermentation, sun-drying, and etc. are few age-old food preservation techniques. With the advent of technology, modern methods of food preservation were developed. Chemicals and other natural substances were used for preservation. These substances are known as the preservatives. Drying. Arguably, the oldest food preservation method is a great way of preserving herbs, fruits, vegetables, and meats. Since the beginning of the time, people have used the sun and nature as the preservation technique for removing moisture. This practice is used throughout the world. For example, in southern Italy is known for drying tomatoes, while India is known for drying chilies, mangoes, and a host of spices using only the powerful rays of sun. If you're even eaten a deliciously sweet, sun-dried tomato, you'll know just how much flavor this technique can add to ingredients. Salting is a subcategory of the drying method. The main difference here is that salt is added to products, mainly meat and fish, to draw out moisture. This lowers the bacterial content and makes food adaptable for later use. Adding salt to animal protein turns it a bit dietary. Popular foods made in this situation are beef jerky and dry salted cod. Canning. In order to can foods, we need heat. The canning techniques was developed by a French chemist in 1795 and was used to preserve food for Napoleon's army. Canning is a popular way of preserving fruits, vegetables, and meats. For example of canning is sardines, peach, canned corns, and others. Both cans and jars are suitable for canning. The important thing will be to sterilize your equipment in simmering water for a few minutes. Then, they will be ready to be filled with things like jam. After filling, place the lid on the firmly but not too tight. To finalize the process, lower the jars into a pot full of water. Cover and bring to boil. Process for about 10 minutes. Pull the jars out of the hot water and let cool. They will vacuum seal as they cool. Cooking times vary for recipe. The main difference between this category and canning is that you need two things for pickling, such as salt and acid. Pickling requires you soak your produce, most famously cucumbers, in a brine with salt. When they have pickled for the desired amount of time, you transfer them to a jar full of vinegar. At this point, you can use the canning method to produce a vacuum seal if you wish. A bonus of pickling is that it does not change the texture too much. The vegetable undergo a fermentation process which also results in a vitamin boost. Pickled vegetables are known for having increased level of vitamin B6. Freezing. In the olden days, people would carry out ice down from neighboring mountain. Of course, now we use electric freezers to preserve our foods. Freezing changes the texture of most fruits and some vegetables, but meat and fish fare well. In the summertime, you may want to freeze your berries so that you have them available for smoothies or baking later in the year. The west The best way to do this is freeze fruit in batches. The same method would apply to vegetable. For instance, scatter fresh berries on a baking tray and put it in the freezer. After they have frozen solid, put them in a bag. This will avoid clumps of berries that are impossible to separate without thawing.